Welcome back, and thanks for coming back. Last night's pizza, guys, it ended up being wonderful, and so the start of the vlog series for this entire thing is going to be super fun. Thanks for coming and hanging out, and stay tuned because day 2 starts now.
Hey, good morning. It's like 7:30. He's still asleep in the shift pod, but there's been a lot of activity with the logging trucks coming through here, so inevitably I've been up for probably a while. Anyway, I've just been watching the sun come up and getting ready to make some coffee. Today's gonna be a cool day. Push down in from down here on the border. We're gonna push up to the Tetons today, so it should be beautiful. Thanks for hanging out. This is day, we left Emerald on Thursday, so it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Today's the 5th day. We have till next Sunday. So, we got a lot. This morning is gonna be kind of a super fast morning. I have a slight electrical issue back here in the camper. The USB ports that charge my phones and stuff aren't working. And Sarge, the main pods, the big ones up on the windshield aren't working. So we're gonna knock those out real quick and then get on the road. So I think breakfast will be like cereal and coffee, something. Anyway, lifelong dream of mine today. We'll see the Tetons, and that's just something that's still blowing my mind. We're gonna see the Tetons. Hold on, I'm being beckoned. Oh, I don't know if you can see it, but it's registering 12.2 again. All the circuits are working. We got the Devos, which I don't know, I guess if anybody asks about the light that we use at camp and stuff, if you don't have one of these, it's the most all-around useful piece of camp gear when you're camping. It really does work. Like, I would hate to have it, because headlamps are like a thing of the past when you have a light like that, because you can literally rise that thing up to like 10 feet and turn it on to whatever brightness you want and you can see everything. Anyway, it's charging. The iPhone watch is charging. iWatch is charging. This is all up and good. So, refrigerator's on. Yes, it's on. So, I guess I'm gonna cook some breakfast and put in my little tools. That's what's crazy, right? So you guys remember, and you guys think it's funny, but I'll show you what I bring real quick. But this is also something I bring, which is this different type of socket. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but that's a pass-through. So if you didn't have the right size socket, but you did in a short socket, well, this allows the bolt to pass through the socket itself, and you still work on it. Anyway, I keep this, and I keep a standard set of sockets, and I keep a 1/2-inch set of sockets drives. That way, you know, we're out here in the middle of nowhere, and the only pieces people have passed us is a couple of logging trucks at about 90 miles an hour. So you really kind of need to be prepared. And so everybody brings a lot of bougie stuff. Well, I tend to bring a whole lot of like equipment. I've got a 1/2-inch impact with me, double batteries for it, a charger for it. So, hey, there's one right there. Don't ever worry about shorting yourself on stuff to fix things, because even though this is the first thing that's happened to me, everybody else has had issues, so that's okay. Okay, these are those 2 cases, those Apache cases from Harbor Freight. all sorts of hand tools. Pliers, crescents, 10-in-1s, multiple wire strippers, different types of crimping tools. And then here is that pass-through socket that I showed you. These are wrenches, and those are all 1/2 inch. And then here, flare tool, which we've actually used on the trail before, which is funny for fuel lines, but that's why I have it now. Small torque wrench, just a standard hammer, files. My larger wrenches from 7/8 going up, and I think I'll have all the way up to 1 inch and 1.3 inches. There's this big one. Of course, it doesn't show. I think it's 1.5 inches. It's a big boy. And then I've got the 42 millimeter sockets and stuff for Jeep hubs and things like that. So, just again, makes sense to have voltmeter, duct tape. This is Velcro strap. This is body panel attachment, plastic, super dual-sided plastic. Assorted fittings, zip ties, jumper cables, a jump box in there. My valve stem replacements, trail kit's in there. My tire puncture kit's in there. And then over here, just some extra hose, a couple ratchet straps, and then fluids. There's brake fluid, steering fluid, radiator fluid. What else? And then a funnel, some WD-40, some silicone, and then I've got Loctite with me as well. So that's what I'm saying. And it doesn't take up much room. 2 boxes there, 2 boxes here, and this is all it takes up. So, not a big deal. Makes sense, right? All right, guys, we just came out of Medicine Bow, and that's what joins Colorado and Wyoming together, and that's what this is. And now it says this is a historical site and area. I guess that's Bottle Creek. And so if you look at this, this is crazy. So they're talking about it's, you know, this was dedicated by Roosevelt, and it was a conservation camp during the Great Depression. And if you can or can't read it, it says, with thousands of Americans out of work, President Roosevelt established the Civilians Conservation Corps program in the United States Unemployment Relief Act in 1930. Young unmarried men, mostly from eastern cities, were employed to work in natural resource products throughout the United States. These men arrived at Bottle Creek Camp from Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Guys, Fort Sill, Oklahoma, via one of those old Model A cars, had to have been a terrible ride. Then it says, from Bottle Creek Conservation Camp, crews fought forest fires, planted trees, and constructed trails, bridges, roads, campgrounds, ranger stations, and fire lookout towers. Many of these facilities are still in use, including ranger stations and residents in an encampment.
the Hop Pole in Saratoga and the Brush Creek Work Center on Highway 130 in Snowy Ridge are still active. It says the men were paid $30 per month and 25 of that went to their families. Wow. Look at what they're doing. Look at the work. Horses, an old cat, and $30 a month. This is the impressive thing right here. So if you look at the time, I mean, it was harsh times, and you can imagine how harsh it was up here. But in 9 years, more than 2 billion trees. In 9 years, 2 billion trees were planted throughout the country by the Civilian Conservation Corps. They called them the Tree Army. Dubbed the Tree Army from the United States Federal Forest Service. That's impressive. And so supposedly this big open area right here is where they had main camp, and then they would just work throughout the forest that way going into Medicine Bow, and then of course this Bottle Creek. So anyway, I love this kind of history stuff, and that's what I like to show you guys. So here we are. We're gonna take a left. There's Mayhem. There's well, I think Brittany is what he calls her. But we're about to bounce, guys, and see what we can find. I have to tell you guys, this state, never been to Wyoming, and it is beautiful. I mean, first of all, how much was available? We just took a track from Colorado into Wyoming that was, I don't know, 100 miles long. All forest, all camping, all in between lakes, rivers, streams. And here we are driving through the highways, and it's probably some of the prettiest things you've ever seen. It's a lot like Colorado, but there's probably more available camping, and it's definitely far more wild on this lower southwest west side. It's just wide open everywhere. So that's crazy. And you can also tell, like, it gets a lot of snow because on all these low draw areas where the road goes through and they have the street markers that show you reflectors, they tie sticks to them that are like 12 and 15 feet tall, so they know how tall that stick is. Well, when they come through checking these roads, you know, and if they see the stick, or they don't see the stick, but all you see is the stick and not the reflector, then they know it's at least 5 feet deep, 6 feet deep. In some places they have them like 15 and 20 feet tall. So I can only imagine how wicked the winter gets here. And I know it gets bad here, Idaho, you know, Wyoming, Montana, all that stuff gets really, really bad. But this forest is 10 times thicker than what Colorado's forests are. And I can just imagine navigating the CDT trail, you know, in the 1800s and even earlier, how hard it would have been. So that's what we're doing right now. We're taking a small piece of highway from where we came up out of Bottle Creek, and we're going to take it down to where we jump back on the CDT and go north. And we take like a 70-mile route from this highway north to, I think, Rawlings, Wyoming. But I don't know. I'll check in with you guys shortly. can't imagine how hard it was to cross all this stuff hundreds of years ago, you know, like, because there's only a few months out of the year that this is okay to drive around and the temperatures are okay and stuff, because it starts getting really cold really early. I mean, right now it's what, August, beginning of September, that week, and like right now it's 72 degrees. It's been down to 40, so maybe the rest of this month is decent, or even into this month, and then all of a sudden it just gets crazy where it starts dropping very quickly during the day, very low at night, and their snow comes in. So yeah, I just wanted to see this. It's just beautiful, but the funny thing is I didn't expect to see so much sage. So I guess let's just see what Rawlings has to offer. To catch you guys up real quick, we're just north of Rawlins. When you come off the CDT trail, you head north on the highway to Rawlins, and then we stopped at the Sinclair's there. Just so you know, they have 2 showers in there. They're super nice, and they're $7 a piece. This is our 5th day on the trail. There's been no water, so that was what we had to go to. But anyway, super nice, super clean. We got that done, and then now we're headed north to the Fork, and it's about 20 miles north of Rawlins, where you take a left and head back into the mountains, into the bush. So that's our update. As soon as I get there, I'll show you all what's popping, because again, to this point, I'm saying everybody should attempt this. Probably any other time of the year than winter up in these northern states. So I would suggest that to be the north part of Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and then up to the Canadian border. That all needs to be done probably earlier in spring, because they're seeing snow in some of those places. So up until this point, as far as ease, as long as it wasn't just terrible torrential rain or anything like that, I would say it's about a 3 as far as overall technical difficulty between navigating it, finding camp spots, and stuff like that. It's all been laid out pretty well. So that's my update. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, and I smell fantastic. Hey, I'm presentable for once. that town I was talking about back there is called Bear Oil. So that's the one you actually come up the highway and start coming through here. And then it's saying Wamsutter is, 40 miles that way. And then Highway 287 is 24 behind us, so is that Bear Oil. And then, of course, we're just going to continue on to just straight out through here. And way off in the distance out there, you start seeing the outlines of the Tetons. So that's where we're going, guys. So since we had this much time, I wanted to kind of give you guys an understanding of, how it looks and feels in this truck on this country road. It's all that little small rock, light rut, light, whatever you call it, corrugations, where it's turned into braking bumps, but it's just super smooth, and you can see, I'm doing, 70 miles an hour, and then again, here it is again. These trucks are just made to do this, and me going to those 3.0 Kings seem to just make all the difference in the front. Now it doesn't sink in the front. I don't hit the bump stops, and a lot of these things that I hit, I'm doing 70 buck. Made all the difference in the world. It's a big shock, but it's a big truck, and so it's funny just driving this compared to my daily F350 on the same kind of roads. It would be like on a ranch or whatever, and to feel the difference, I could never drive my 350 like this on a road like this. It starts walking all over the place at 55, especially on roads like this. Now this, it's like whatever. Whenever you want to get going, let's go. That's what it feels like. It's just super responsive, and it really does work well. But we made about 50 of the 75 to 85 miles that we had across this area. And then we're getting close to those bad boys. So stay with us. We're trying to make up as much time as we can. What do we have here? Uh-oh. Guys, our first casualty, BFG. Something punctured right there in the center, so we should be able to get it corrected. But we were in the middle of a road. So we've got it over now, and we'll get the new tire on and then get this out of the way. And I guess tonight we'll find the hole and patch it.
Mark it right here.
You got it right now?
Yeah.
Just rub something like. Okay. Anyway, got that done in this little town. It's just called Fremont County Fire here. I'm not sure what this little town is called. I couldn't find it. It's a strange little town. It's a nice little hub for the walkers and the bicyclers on the actual trail. So we're gonna get the tire changed, and then we've got, geez, probably another 40 miles that we need to hammer out. Check this out, guys. Now it's some sort of little maintained site, but I'll find out what it is here in a second. But we were just blazing down the trail, and then started getting into these little canyons, and we came right up to this. All right, the Carissa Mine, cycle of boom and bust. Thousands rush to South Pass, and following find substantial gold deposits at the Carissa Mine in 1867. As the boom gained steam, Carissa sat in the center of a mining development, serving as a primary economic force for South Pass City. Eventually, the gold played out, and Carissa's mining technology reached its limits. As a result, Carissa closed, contributing to the gold bust to the decline of South Pass City in 1870. It's pretty impressive. It says they designated this a historical site in 1949. And then this is the South Pass City, Wyoming's biggest gold boom and bust. 1870, W.H. Jackson. South Pass City, it's crazy. discovered small amounts of gold in the 1840s, but it took until 1868 for the first mining claims to be staked. Wow. It says in South Pass City in 1869, with perhaps 3,000 people, they considered it Wyoming Territory's second largest town. 3,000 people. It's pretty impressive, guys. I just love this kind of stuff, and that's exactly why I wanted to do this CDT. Back in. Now, this is another part of the road that we actually, after we came out of the CDT, we had to take like a 10-mile bypass down the highway and then jump back on this. And this kind of shoots across. And this just to show you what I was talking about. This is really well maintained. And we could be railing if we wanted. There are some sharp drop-offs and curves, so be very careful. And I mean it. There are some that are big-time puckers because you think you're about to launch. Anyway, they have really stepped up their game taking care of the same trail. You got to think thousands of people walk this, ride bicycles, and ride motorcycles down this from either Canada to Mexico or Mexico to Canada. And so they do a really good job taking care of it. Yes, there's a lot of oil and stuff out here, but this is beyond that. There's not as many as close as you think. This is taken care of for a reason. And I think it's awesome stewardship because it keeps everybody on the trail and it keeps everything else in good shape. But I just gotta think we gotta give our hats off to the people that are running this and walking it. I mean, I just can't imagine that. This is what we found to camp at. We're gonna go down there and see if there's some places. It seems to be called Burnt Lake. Burnt Lake. So, see if there's anything back there. Like, this is wicked, guys. I swear this is the most earned, like, BLM lake in the public campground that you've ever come across. Like, you got a wheel to get to this bad boy, and guess what? There is no, like, you better have a rig, because if you get out here and it's muddy, your ass is in trouble. Like, this is the road. It's still, like, super tiny, super tight. Can't wait to see this.
There's a campground right there.
I'm hoping it ends up turning out good. So, this is what we got for that drive. A quiet alpine lake. It's as crystal clear as you can imagine. A really, look at this, guys. Whoever was here last gets like an A+. That fire pit, we measured it from the bottom to the top of the rocks. It's 18 inches, it's huge, it's deep.
That's the way you do it. That way your flames are below the rock level. Wood. Closing off the trail directions. There's one that went out there for four-wheelers. That's the one back to the main road, so we've got that set up as a block. And then, of course, the Taj Mahal. Richard say, "What's up?" It's become like his hotel. Anyway, I can't believe what's going on here. Like, this is nuts. To run, you know, those trails like that today, and I mean, hours, countless hours. I don't know how many miles we did, but we were both worn out, and then to finish the day with this, like, this is our campsite. I want you guys to look at this water. Now this is Burnt Lake. I know you can't tell how deep it is, but that rock's about 3 inches tall. So that water is just, I mean, you can see way out there how clear it is. So, this is definitely a beautiful spot. We're gonna put this thing together and start working on camp and get the fire started. Once the fire started, we'll start on putting everything together. Dudes, I gave them like a super A+, then super pissed. You can see the type of stuff around here. I'm not saying it can happen. I'm just saying the wind's been blowing all day. It could have blown this out, and any one of these embers could have blown into that. Now, I don't know when they left, but the matter of fact is, watch this. Let's see if I can make it do it for you. You see that? So, all those little embers are still hot and would easily still kind of catch that stuff right there on fire. That stuff right there is so dry, it's nuclear ready to go up. Like, come on, man. Pour water in your, I almost said a bad word. Pour water in your fires until you know it's out. And Sarge just pointed something out. Look, firing an entire lake. Firing lake. All right, guys, this is what it is. We're done. We just had sandwiches for dinner, super simple. Easy fire going. We are just relaxing. I can't remember how far we went today, but we went from 100 miles south of Rawlins, Wyoming. We went a total of 350 miles, almost all by trail, up to almost Pendle, Wyoming. So basically the Colorado border, through the national forest, over and then back up through the national forest up to right south of Rawlins,
and then from there, back road all the way to here. So we're kind of wore out, but square. We did 9 hours on the trail today, and 9 hard hours. We were rolling the whole time. So it's called nighttime. But I appreciate you guys watching. It's been a pretty cool series. It's been so much different than I thought it would be. He and I were talking about it tonight, and even today, that it's not what I thought it would be trail-wise. Hard, easy, whatever you want to call it. Definitely wasn't that, but that's okay. The Tetons and Yellowstone come tomorrow, so stick with me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, remember, this channel is lightly supported by its Patreon members. We appreciate it. We use everything that goes into these trips from Patreon. www.patreon.com/Maximum Overland, one word. And that's it, man. Whew, thanks. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Remember, stay frosty.